Welcome to Culture on Tap. We are a podcast that is about bridging the cultural gap one conversation at a time. We have myself, Xavier. We have Dale sitting next to me, and we have Range over there behind the camera. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe anywhere you listen to or watch podcasts. And make sure you hit the bell so that you can get the notifications whenever we have new content, so you can tap in with us and so that we can be a resource for you, so that we can challenge or encourage. ... I was so focused on not messing up on notifications that I totally forgot. Squandered resource. Sound like a Mike Tyson or something. So, there you go.
So, fun facts with Range.
Yep.
Here is a question for you, Xavier Bright.
Mm-hmm. I'll wait.
Is classical music a real thing?
Oh, yeah. Beethoven, Mozart, Bach. Yeah.
Range?
Yes, obviously, classical music is a real thing. I do not know any of those people that you just said.
But you even tried to argue with me that that's not like a real genre of music.
I mean, no, I wouldn't call it a genre. It's just old.
What do you mean you wouldn't call it a genre?
It's
what is
old music. It's not.
He's getting like classic rock.
Like, what do you mean old music?
It's from a long time ago.
Okay.
Who recorded classical music yesterday?
Actually, there are people who still do renditions of Beethoven. Yeah, I can literally pull up one right now.
So then, what genre would that be?
Classical.
It's called classical.
A genre is just a category.
Hold up.
A genre is all it is just fancy for a category.
So then, it's a
category of music.
So if they did it yesterday, it's not classical. It's in a different category.
Classical is a style.
It's a category.
It's a style.
Yeah,
just
from
like
a long time ago.
No. You ain't getting away with this one, bro. No, you're not.
Like country is a style of music.
Yes, that can be old, new.
Classical is a style of. It's the style of music.
It's a time.
No, it's not a time. It's not.
So a classic car is a
classic
brand,
not classical.
Really?
Really?
But the way we got on this was he got the question, that was a different question. It asked something about Mozart. And you had no idea who that was.
No.
And I said,
somebody said something about him being an artist.
Yes. What was he an artist of? And he was like, I have never heard of such. And I was like, Mozart, the classical musician. And you said, I don't know what that is.
No.
And I said, Beethoven. And you said,
the dog.
But you've heard, you don't realize you've heard it, but you've heard Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
I mean, if you say so. Why not 1 through 4?
I mean, he did do 1 through 4. They're just not famous.
Famous like the
fifth. The fifth was the big one. Like
the last one?
I don't think it's his last.
It's not the last one.
No. It's just like you have artists who have songs that are more popular than others. That was his most popular song for whatever.
So a symphony is a song?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what a sympathy is. I have no idea what that is.
What did you call it?
I don't know what that is.
A
sympathy is not a song. I don't know what that is.
Symphony.
Symphony.
Yeah.
Symphony is a song?
I really don't know what makes something a symphony over.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Hold on.
I don't know that.
That's how useful y'all are.
That's what, when we get stumped, it's like throwing all out the window. It's all real. You don't know everything, so now it's a lie.
Yeah. But classical, same difference.
Yeah.
Is a time frame.
Nope. But it's a genre. It's a category of music that was being made in a particular
A long
time.
time. Okay.
But that is still relevant today.
People still make classical music. Like, people still write symphonies. So
Hans Zimmer, do you know who that is?
Who?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know who that is. You don't know Hans Zimmer. But probably every movie that you've heard a soundtrack to, he's a part of it. He is the composer.
Yeah. I would argue he's probably
greater than those guys.
Yeah, but he's just not as... So a symphony is an elaborate musical composition of full orchestra, typically in 4 movements, at least one of which is traditional sonnet. None of that.
Like, blah, 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 blah.
I could have said anything right there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you did. Made up a bunch of words. Anyway, I mean, we'll just have to agree to disagree.
No, we're not going to agree. So we're clear.
No.
You continue to say that. Agree to disagree would be us saying Taco Bell tacos are the best tacos ever. We can agree to disagree on that. We can't agree to disagree.
That's an opinion.
This is a
These
fact.
are facts.
We'll agree to disagree on that too.
Facts by who?
What does that even mean?
So you said this guy makes the soundtracks to movies.
Yes.
So that's not classical music.
Yeah, soundtrack is not a style of music.
But classical is?
A soundtrack is sound, like it's like I don't even know what to do anymore.
He composes music. A lot of it he uses classical instruments, whether that's pianos, violins, cellos.
Okay, so classical instruments meaning
to make classical music.
Older style instruments.
To make classical music.
Older music.
Just like you use an MPC to produce mostly rap music. A type of genre. You use an MPC to do that.
I agree that rap would be a genre.
And he don't want to learn. He don't want to learn.
I do want to learn.
He don't want to learn.
It's almost like
He don't want to learn.
In some ways it feels like it's Waterboy at college.
My mama said.
Mama said.
Abdullah Amagata. So yes. So there you have it. We will agree to disagree that classical.
No, we ain't doing. Don't feed into that.
According to Range, we're agreeing to disagree that classical music is a style of music. According to Range. So
It's a time frame of music.
time frame.
That don't even make no sense. Just move on. Let's move on.
But so the same way that y'all say that it makes sense, it doesn't make sense to me that it's not.
And it don't make sense to me that Iowa is pronounced Iowa and not Iowa. How about that?
You got me there.
It don't make sense to me. And we'll agree to disagree that it's actually a place. How about that? How about that?
Well, what do you do when they say, who decided the fact? It's not even... Woo! Well, that's a great way to kick into a look back at, because I guarantee you this will come up when we look back,
at 2024.
And just a disclaimer, I'm really struggling at realizing that what I'm not convinced of is that we've only done this for a year.
We'll agree to disagree.
I am convinced that, I don't know why,
Yep. January 22nd,
So,
according to my.
well, I was on some episodes in 2022. I don't know where y'all were. They didn't get very many views either, clearly.
Yeah. So we're looking back. We've had 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
25 in the first season, and now we're 20 something in the second one. And there's been a lot that has happened. There's been a lot that we've all gone through personally.
Yeah,
There's
I was
been
about
a
to say
lot
on the show, on personal.
just everything. So, I mean, we can look back at some of our favorite episodes. We can, like what were some of y'all's favorite moments, episodes, whatever the case may be. Like, but
One thing that I definitely think is interesting as I'm looking at the list of all the episodes, we have definitely been, maybe not by, I don't want to say people that watch us regularly, maybe still by people, but we get labeled quite often as race guys because clearly we're different races. Me and him are the same, but
no, you're not.
well, he a whole
He's
race
from a magical land
he
that
is,
doesn't exist.
He is a what is it with an almost extinct animal in itself.
The edge of extinction.
Yeah, but we get put in that box quite often, which we are very comfortable in having those conversations, and we actually, I feel like we do a phenomenal job of giving God glory and pushing into that issue that is a very big issue in America. But when you look at our episodes, we talk about, I mean, I'm not saying it hasn't come up in other episodes, but it being the title part of an episode, less than a third of the time. Way less. Yeah. Because really, since
we talked about the episode that's racism. We talked about being woke.
Black History.
Black History Month.
That's really it.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely came up in some other episodes, like as key points in the episode, like when you and Eric were on the law enforcement, it came up in that, but it was not the focal point of the overarching episode, which I think is very, very interesting when you look back on it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about favorite episodes.
Mine were always Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, for me, and we've only done a couple, kind of a turning point in the podcast and the way that we've done it, doing the family table episodes.
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
I enjoy those.
The hard part, and I think you would agree with this, it takes a lot more prep.
Yeah, it's a lot to put together.
And what people don't realize, because...
Which is why we don't do it
all
the time.
Because we all work other jobs and all have... Well, we all have 3 children.
Right.
Getting a chance to record is a feat in itself because our wives have to be on board. Like, they've got the kids that day. It's usually a day when we're off to spend time with our kids, so it just makes it even hard. But I thoroughly enjoy when we get to do those episodes.
Yeah. My favorite episodes so far have been whenever we've had guests.
Okay.
Whether it was Eric or Paul. And just basically a change of pace from what us 3 bring.
For sure.
They bring a different, or they brought a different element to it. So I'm looking forward to having more guests, maybe even them again.
Right.
Yeah.
On tackling different issues and stuff.
Sure.
But those were my favorite episodes to be a part
So
of. And obviously the Hot Wings Challenge.
Yeah.
And the family table challenges and stuff like that. Those were good.
Yeah.
But
so I think I agree. I love the guest ones. If I was picking an episode that I just really enjoyed that we've done, just the 3 of us, I enjoyed a lot of them, but I really enjoyed when we did the Hillsong documentary ones.
Yeah.
And I think
like little series.
I think one, I think the episodes themselves, when I watched it, was impactful. But I think I felt like the dialogue was really, really good in those episodes.
Yeah. And we'll definitely do more of that because I think why they were so impactful because they were so fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again,
though, those take a ton of prep too because you got to watch it. And for that one, we had to watch it multiple times because we'd already watched it, and then we had to go back and watch it for the podcast.
And to kind of piggyback off that, I really enjoyed doing that also because I probably, because you, like you said, hey, you really should watch this. It's really good. And I, just being honest, probably wouldn't have ever gotten around to it if I wouldn't have had to watch it for the show. And I'm very glad that I did watch it and, you know, was able to learn and grow in that way.
So what would you say, besides like episodes having to do with doing this, what is some highlights that you feel like have in your own life have come from us doing that this year? Whether it's conversations you got to have with people, whatever. Like, what do you feel like as some things that have really stuck out to you this year? Either one of y'all.
So I would actually say the fun facts with Range, because I do and you've been talked to about the way that we do the fun facts and things like that. I thoroughly enjoy learning.
Right.
No, you don't. No,
I did.
You don't.
I didn't finish. I thoroughly enjoy learning the things that some people think that I quote unquote missed out on.
Yeah.
Growing up, that I just either have forgotten completely about or never learned in school in the first place,
or think is a myth,
or think is a myth, or
but what people
just because it's on Google.
Yeah. Wouldn't you agree though? I think some of it is with you if they know you, and I think you would agree with this. Range is very much, this is my lane. If it doesn't fit in my lane, I ain't looking up.
Right.
Like, you're not one of those people that go, that's intriguing, let me look into that.
Right.
Ever.
Not really, no.
Like, and it's so funny because, like for example, I love reading, and I was sharing with him, like, for example, Range loves Disney like we love Disney.
Yes.
We read a lot of Disney books.
And watch Disney podcasts.
Yes. And I was sharing with him something I read in the last chapter. I would be willing to bet you're never going to do that. And nor do you care.
Right.
Because it doesn't make a difference to you who the CEO is.
Right. No, for sure. But I mean, I enjoy listening to y'all talk about it, and and I'll probably forget by the time I get to the house. But I enjoy conversating, about that type of stuff or whatever. But so if anybody is out there concerned about how I feel about the fun facts with Range, I thoroughly enjoy them.
And we are not, we want to be really clear. Range does have a bachelor's degree, and we know that Range is intelligent. It's more for us that we're mind blown
that he doesn't know
that how he just put his head down and didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
and literally we've talked about things that literally we've talked about outside of this podcast.
Yeah.
And I still am I
still don't believe it.
Don't have a clue. Don't have a clue.
So what's something highlight?
There have been multiple times where people who we met at camp or people who we know have randomly texted me and was like, oh, they said something that was said on the podcast. Mm. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then it was like, oh, this episode, whenever you said this, or Range or Dale said this. And I'm like, it's like, oh, people actually listen.
Yeah.
So that was the coolest thing.
For sure.
Especially people who we just met this summer. And that was another thing. We got an opportunity to have a breakout, at youth camp because of this, the podcast, and just the different opportunities that opened up within our first year.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we look and we focus on negatives. or not even necessarily negatives, or it's not moving as fast as we want it to or whatever, but just thinking of the things that has happened,
Right.
the conversations that have been able to be had because of this, and it's been less than a year.
Yeah.
Has been amazing and mind-blowing, actually. But just receiving those text messages or instant messaging, on online or whatever has been cool to receive.
I would just piggyback up. I would agree. Like, I mean, there's two aspects of it to me that's just been crazy. One, from a blessing standpoint, like Ray's talking about people that have worked with him, that watch it. He gets to have conversations about Jesus, which was the whole reason we started this, was to allow people to see that we're real people that love Jesus and are just honest about where we are in our lives. And there's been multiple of us that have had engaging conversations, but it really blesses me when people, one, we have such a diverse age range that listens to us, and cultural differences. Because like even, I think it was New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, one of the two, Troy is probably already watching, not this one because we're recording it right now, but he shout out to Troy, like he point blank said, "Hey, I loved the episode where y'all were just honest about where you are in your life right now." And then he said, "We want to hear more from Range." And I was like, that's really cool. Like, not that you're just not watching, but like there's things that you want to see. Like we want to hear that. And the crazy part is, from another standpoint, like you said, like, so we started this as three friends doing this, and no, we're not like hitting like 1 million views or getting any of the, because YouTube gives you plaques when you hit so many. We're not getting anything in the mail anytime soon. However, in the first year, we get asked to go to camp and to speak. This year, we're getting asked to go to all of that group's camps and have our morning show on the camp, and still do breakouts and try to like just they're trying to figure out how to use us more. And I realized that it was a bigger deal. So me and Xavier got invited to a brainstorming meeting. What month was that? October? September. And they were asking us questions like we're YouTube podcast gurus. And we're like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. Like,
and we ain't the brains behind the
we're like
we just the mouthpieces.
Yeah, we just like
Range is the one who's doing all the editing and all of that. Yeah. We don't know nothing.
Yeah, and they're like,
we come up with the content.
Yeah, they were like we're literally sitting in this meeting, and Brandon, who is a friend of ours, goes, "Hey, give the guys a little spill of what y'all gonna do." We're like, "Huh?" I was like,
"What we gonna do? What we gonna do, boss?"
Like, you tell me. And like, but so like that part's been like really cool. And like you said, like going to camp and having people, like, it's weird having people quote things back to us, which it's just different. But it's been a blessing also getting to have conversations with people. Like you said, like I think, think back to just the episode, like I think that's the most, when we talked with Eric about law enforcement, that's the most I've ever heard him talk about his past and that. And to really just hear some of those conversations. And even with, I really enjoyed the episode when Paul and Range talked about working in the workplace, something that I've really not done because I've always been in ministry. And just, I think those episodes are really cool. And then having, like, a blessing for me is my mom will sit down with me and go, "Man, I didn't even think about that." Or like have dialogue with me about an episode, or sitting on the couch with my children watching, even though I hate watching myself, but like watching it and like discussing it after the fact. It's been really cool to me.
Yeah. So what have been y'all's like favorite moments? Not necessarily episodes, but moments, if you can think of on the show. I have mine. But I want to hear from y'all first.
I think probably, and it's not like a singular specific moment, but it's a real raw moment. I love whenever one or two or all three of us show like our real and raw emotions. Like if you find something that's funny and you reach over and you grab Dale's arm, I didn't. I know the pain that he's feeling, but I also know how real the laughter, the joy, or whatever it is, that you're feeling. And then, like, for Dale, like, whenever Dale talks about something that he is extremely passionate about, there's no doubt that he's going to get choked up. Mm-hmm. And, we can laugh about it or whatever, but it's, yes, we're doing a podcast, we're videoing and we're posting it, but it's all very real and relevant to us. And a lot of it is very relevant to us at that point in time that, when we're recording, and to be able to share it with people and show those real raw emotions, I think has been really.
Yeah, for me, favorite moment, I have a more serious one than I have a funny one. My serious one would be when you were out with your leg. We did the Range and Jess and me and Michelle. I always love having conversation with my wife, but on that one, when it was about them, without even realizing it, like, we're having a conversation about family and past, and there was a moment with Range where I asked a question and I saw the light go off. Like, I've never thought about that with my brothers.
It was about my brother.
Yeah, and so, like, just like in what people probably don't realize on the show is we genuinely have those questions around the table, and like to have that moment where this isn't rehearsed. I didn't know I was going to ask him that question. Like, God just kind of laid it on my heart and I asked it. And honestly, if I'd have thought about it, I probably wouldn't have, not knowing how it would be perceived.
Right.
And so, like, that part was really awesome for me. And hopefully we can schedule soon for you and Lauren to be on here, because I want that to happen as well. And I even hope, talking about guests, I would love to see an episode where it's just our wives, like, getting to vent about all the crap we talk about and how they would do it different, which would probably be a weird episode for us. But and then on a humor side, hands down,
easily, pork and cheese.
Pork and cheese.
Pork and cheese.
Pork and cheese
is my favorite moment.
Pork and cheese.
Easily.
Yeah.
And that's actually
the most talked about thing I've heard.
Pork and cheese.
Pork and cheese.
Somebody.
Who said it to us at camp? And I didn't even know what they were talking about.
No, it wasn't at camp. It was after camp. It was dude. Yeah, he probably watching. Got his name. Trent Murray.
Yeah.
He messaged both of us on Messenger and just said pork and cheese.
Yeah.
And LOL. And we were like,
I didn't know at first. I was like, what is he talking about?
And then I was like, well, I just went LOL, what?
Right.
Even though I didn't laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And he was like, the episode, and I was like, oh yeah.
And that's what it actually
was like.
People watch our show. By the way, if you're watching Trent, so let me just tell you, I don't know if you saw this on social media, and I'm picking at Trent out. He has a satchel that he carries, and he calls it his essential bag, and the whole spiel felt like he was justifying why he carries his hipster stuff.
That's right.
I was like, bro, it's a lot. He was like, well, go scan notebook. I was like,
leave him alone.
I was laughing because I would have been like, I have a notebook, a Bible, in my book bag. But if you don't know Trent, like, it's so Trent, it was so funny. But yeah, pork and cheese was. I literally think I was going to get it back together.
Yeah,
like it was.
I don't know how we got it back together.
Like,
and then he tried to throw you in the. I got a nail tongue.
Don't even. Yeah. Like, you drowned in a long today.
That was hands down my favorite moment.
There was something. There was another moment when Paul was on there and he said something, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" That even when I went back and
Range or Paul,
mm-hmm. Which, I mean, you never know what's coming out of Paul's mouth. Like, Paul's a different breed of human being altogether. But he said something, and it was funny in the moment. But I went back and watched it with Michelle. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was so funny!" And like, it was really, really good.
Yeah. So, what can our Culture on Tapians expect this year? What we gonna do?
Well, I think we talked about one. There is a hope. It's still in the works, and if it doesn't happen, please don't hold us against us. We want to try to record one of the morning shows at camp, just because they're part of the reason we get to do this. So the hope is that Range gets to come up and be a part of that. That's the goal. Is to try to at least let y'all see what that looks like. So that'll be different.
Yeah.
We definitely want to do some more family tables.
Have some more guests.
More guests. I think we want to do that. And I think now that we're doing it from home and we see that we don't have to be in a studio, I think changing locations could be a cool thing to do too.
Yeah.
We haven't talked a lot about this, but in the past we talked about even bringing in business owners and doing it at their businesses and and just talking with them. But I would even say, if you're on Savannah, please, if there's something you want us to talk about or have an idea, we are open.
Put it in the comments.
We trust me, we are not someone that goes, this is the way we want it to be done. The goal for this was to be able to talk about culture and Jesus at the same time as friends, like we usually do. That's the goal. Like outside of that, everything's on the table.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if y'all have anything different as far as this year, what you want to see happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Even from a tech side, Range, give us some of the good
so that's actually where I was going. There's some things that I want to, a couple of things that I want to purchase that will help us out audio wise. Just some different, some better microphones and things like that can go, like if we go somewhere and, a little more portable type setup than kind of where we were. I'm looking forward to continuing to learn more things on the tech side, like the editing side and things like that. Because I was editing a video the other night, and I came across a easier way to do the thumbnails, and I was super excited.
Yeah.
And I was like, telling Jessica, I was like, come look what I did. She's like,
Okay.
that's cool, babe.
I'm happy for
but
you.
it
I
was-
couldn't create a thumbnail if my life depended on it. Do you know how to do that?
No.
They have gotten better than what they were,
Yes.
and easier.
Yeah.
I have noticed
Better
that.
and
I
easier.
did notice a vast change in them because, like, it was.
That was when I found it.
Yeah, well,
I was like,
and the way I
oh, wow.
realized it changed was we were getting on YouTube to do something, and it just like posted, and I was like, "That's us!" Like I was like, "Whoa!" Because you don't. I mean, we know it
Looks legit.
Yeah, I was like that. Dang, I was like, that looks really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But and it does get hard. All of us work full-time jobs, multiple full-time jobs. That type of deal, and so continuing the learning for this, plus continuing learning as a Christian and growing in that aspect, sometimes can be a lot.
And
But
just for a disclaimer, we did leave the studio, and it has nothing to do with Joey at all. We love Joey, and we think he's Radio Platinum. They still sponsor us, and but our goal always has been to be able
To be more mobile.
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 That's
Did
Chris.
you call you on my mobile?
My Dally Range just went to England. I guess you didn't visit that famous landmarks there either.
I did not.
The mobile.
Me
So,
on mobile.
and I think now that we know how to do this,
Right.
because like we did have the idea of like, hey, when we all go to Disney, we should do a video, but we didn't because at that point we weren't real sure how to do this. And
Right.
now I think it'd be really easy to just set up a camera and do like a 10-minute video and just say, hey, look, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
So that part I think will open up a lot of doors into things that we're doing this year.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, more to come in 2024. I'm looking forward to more guests.
Yeah.
I know Dennis Rosh, my friend in Alabama. He has a story that needs to be heard. And whenever he comes in town, we're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And just like guests that we've already had, Lauren, I'm looking forward to those episodes and tackling more hot topics, current events. Like it's just gonna. I think it's just gonna be. 2024 is gonna be good.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good
for sure.
Yeah. Well, y'all got anything else?
Find 5 friends.
5 friends.
Yes.
5 friends.
I mean, and I would say, like, 'cause we really
over 100 subscribers, but we've been stuck in this little holding pattern.
And that's the thing. Like, my heart would be if you love the show, help someone else find it.
Yeah.
And that's why we put it on podcast and YouTube, because we know some people YouTube's
I'd rather listen than watch.
The reality is I do both. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff with my family, but I listen to a gang of podcasts when I'm driving. So
don't listen to music.
Yeah, I do not listen to music, and I don't need you to God bless me when I sneeze. So please find 5 friends, because like the reality is, if this does grow and our subscribers, like, it could change things for us and what we can do in finances. Like, we do want to get more tech stuff. We want to be able to do those things. So yeah, we'd love for that opportunity. And I'm glad we didn't get into like the negative side, but I would say also be praying for us, because it does take a lot to do this. And like we said a couple weeks ago when we were vulnerable about where we are in our life, there's days that we have done this. Here's the thing that I think is a blessing. My stomach growled. Did you hear that? It was loud.
It didn't sound
That
like
was
a
your.
growl.
I thought that was a car going down the road.
It didn't sound like a growl. It sounded like somebody crying. You hungry?
I think,
All that gym work.
we would all agree on this. There has been a lot of days, for me, even including today, where we're recording, and I'm like, whatever's going on, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like once we get started, I'm always thankful that we did.
For sure.
And I think that's a blessing, that in the midst of it, we're like, man, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it does take away a lot, because I mean, the reality is, tomorrow morning, work's waiting for I mean, like it's, and so yeah, just keep praying for us, because we do love doing this, but it does take a lot out of us to do it at the same time, and our families.
Yes, for sure, our families. But no, this is good.
Yeah.
More good things to come.
Absolutely.
And keep tapping in with us. This has been Culture on Tap. Appreciate you guys. See y'all next week. Radio Platinum, playing the best classic hits. You can download the Houston Radio Platinum app. It's in your app store, or just ask Alexa to play Houston Radio Platinum.